Forget what you thought you knew about church money. T.D. Jakes didn't just build a ministry, he built a money machine. From $100,000 speeches to $100 million films, his pulpit is just the front. What's really behind it? A billion-dollar empire that runs like a Fortune 500. You're about to see how one preacher flipped faith into fortune, and it's way deeper than Sunday tithes. The ministry millions? Let's talk money, big money, the kind that flows in every Sunday morning while gospel choirs sing and people cry tears of faith. Because behind the pulpit, beyond the lights, there's a financial powerhouse sitting in Dallas, Texas. And it's called the Potter's House. Back in 1996, Bishop T.D. Jakes didn't just start a church, he built an empire. A non-denominational megachurch with over 30,000 loyal members packing in every week. That's not just a church, that's a movement. And where there's movement, there's money. Now hold on. This isn't your typical Sunday building on a corner street. The Potter's House sits on a massive 28-acre stretch of land in Dallas. You could fit over 200 basketball courts in there and still have space left over. And the heart of it all? A 191,000 square foot sanctuary that looks more like a concert arena than a church. It cost $45 million to build. And yes, they had to incur debts to build such a massive structure. That debt paid off in 4 years. Not 10, not 20, just 4. That's the power of a faithful following and serious financial muscle. And they didn't stop there. This sanctuary is high-tech. We're talking cascade seating, a huge stage, a choir loft for 450 people, and an audio-visual system so advanced it could make a Hollywood director jealous. Every camera angle, every lyric, every tear on someone's cheek, captured and streamed like a movie. But the Potter's House is more than just one building. It's got multiple campuses now. Fort Worth, North Dallas, Denver, Los Angeles, and get this, they're all linked by satellite video. That means one message, one preacher, one powerful moment, delivered live to thousands of people in different cities, like a spiritual broadcast tower reaching across America. And where there's reach, there's revenue. Back in 2008, Forbes dropped the mic with a report that the Potter's House took in over $40.3 million in tithes and offerings. Let that number sink in. That's more than what some small businesses make in 10 years. And that was over 15 years ago. Since then, the numbers may not be public, but if you think it's gotten smaller, well, you are wrong. That kind of cash doesn't just come from the sky. It comes from people. Everyday believers giving 10% of their income, trusting that their seed will be blessed. And when 30,000 people sow every single week, you better believe that field grows fast. Now this is where it gets interesting. Bishop T.D. Jakes doesn't take a salary from the church. Yeah, you heard that right. No paycheck, no direct cut. Instead, he lets the church do what it does best, spread the word and bring in the masses, while he makes his real money from other things. Things we're going to talk about next. But for now, just think about the scale of it all. The lights, the cameras, the music, the buildings, the staff, the satellites, the conferences, the humanitarian programs, the media network, all powered by one massive congregation and one powerful voice. This isn't a side hustle. This is a well-oiled machine. The Potter's House is not just a church, it's a spiritual empire, a faith-based business that runs like a corporation with structure, investment, and expansion. From the outside, it looks like Sunday morning praise. But behind the scenes, it's financial strategy, real estate, technology, and serious branding. People show up to worship, they leave inspired, but while they raise their hands, what else rises? The bottom line, and that's just the beginning. Because up next, we're pulling the curtain back even more. We're diving into T.D. Jakes' publishing empire, the books, the deals, the millions. You thought this was about preaching? No, that was just the intro. The real business of Bishop Jakes is about to get exposed page by page. Publishing empire. Bishop T.D. Jakes didn't just write sermons. He wrote stories, strategies, and survival guides. Over 40 powerful books. And they didn't just sit on church bookstore shelves. They flew off them. Let's start with the one that changed everything. Woman, Thou Art Loosed. This wasn't just a book. It was a cultural earthquake. It hit women like lightning, giving voice to their silent pain, their healing, their past, their power. That one book alone sold over 1 million copies. Then it turned into a stage play, then a movie. From the pulpit to the bookshelf, to the big screen. And that was just the beginning. Now take a breath, because here comes the full lineup. Crushing, God Turns Pressure into Power, showed people how their hardest moments could shape their future. Let It Go taught forgiveness that frees the soul. When Women Pray gave strength to those who felt forgotten. And it doesn't stop there. From Reposition Yourself to Don't Drop the Mic, from Soar to Disruptive Thinking, the man had a message for everyone. Men, women, singles, leaders, dreamers, broken people, business minds, all of them. He even wrote devotionals like T.D. Jakes' devotional and journal, Woman Thou Art Loosed, 90 Days to Healing and Wholeness, and So You Call Yourself a Man? Each one more personal, more intimate, like he was speaking directly to the reader's pain and purpose. But this wasn't just about ministry. Jakes tapped into real-life wisdom. He dropped titles like 10 Commandments of Working in a Hostile Environment and Disruptive Thinking Study Guide, tackling issues people face on the job, in society, in leadership, and within themselves. He showed men how to handle pressure with he-motions and women how to walk through the fire with why, because you are anointed. His words gave people a mirror to see themselves differently. All these books together, they sold more than 20 million copies worldwide. That's right, 20 million, not streamed, not viewed, bought, held in hands, highlighted, underlined, shared, read again and again. People were crying with them, journaling with them, praying with them. And that wasn't just spiritual impact, it was financial firepower. These book sales generated an estimated $115 million in revenue. Let that number sink in. That's not from church offerings. That's not from speaking gigs. That's from ink on paper. Now, do we know exactly how much he made per book? Not really. Those numbers are kept tight. But the total? It speaks loud. This man's pen built a fortune, and with every launch it only grew bigger. The thing is, T.D. Jakes didn't just write books. He created movements. His words became part of people's daily lives. From the moment they woke up to the minute they cried themselves to sleep, his pages were there, in their hands, in their homes, in their hearts. What's crazy is how he used books to cross boundaries. While most pastors were preaching in their own towns, Jakes was preaching from airport bookstores, hotel lobbies, Amazon carts, and living room coffee tables around the world. His reach wasn't just local, it was global. From Dallas to Dubai, his words were everywhere. And that's what made this publishing empire so powerful. It wasn't just about making money. It was about making moments that lasted forever. But don't blink now, because if books brought in millions, wait till you see what comes next. We're diving into the world of media and entertainment, films, TV production deals, and yes, even Hollywood. T.D. Jakes didn't just stop at books. He took his message to the screen. And what we uncovered next proves one thing for sure. This man is not just a preacher. He's a business force like you've never seen before. Media and entertainment ventures. T.D. Jakes' publishing empire is largely centered around TDJ Enterprises, a social impact holding company that produces content, facilitates cultural change, and invests in community development. Let's break it down. TDJ Enterprises was born in 1995, right in the heart of Dallas, Texas. But this wasn't your average ministry side project. This was a media and entertainment machine. Films, music, television, live events, conferences, digital content, you name it. He had a hand in it. This company didn't just make noise, it made impact, and it made money. Over the last 2 decades, TDJ Enterprises has pulled in nearly $400 million in total revenue. You heard that right? This wasn't spare change. This was real business. And it all started with a vision to tell powerful stories and shake up culture. Let's talk film. His company went straight into the movie business and started dropping hit after hit. Films like Woman, Thou Art Loosed, which started as a book, then became a play, and finally hit the big screen. Then came Not Easily Broken, Jumping the Broom, Sparkle, and Winnie Mandela. But the numbers? That's where things got wild. Jumping the Broom brought in nearly $38 million worldwide on just a $7 million budget. Then came Heaven is for Real, a blockbuster that raked in over $100 million globally. These weren't just small church movies. These were box office crushers. He even backed Miracles from Heaven, Black Nativity, and Woman Thou Art Loosed on the Seventh Day. All of them told faith-driven stories, but with top-level production and mainstream reach. Critics noticed, audiences noticed, Hollywood noticed, and so did the cash register. Now let's shift to television. In 2016, TDJ Enterprises launched the TD Jakes talk show, which aired on network stations and Oprah's OWN network. This wasn't some late-night church show. It tackled real-life issues with real people. Then came Faith Under Fire, a Lifetime biopic starring Toni Braxton, produced under the same banner. But this empire didn't just live on screens. It lived in music, too. Under the music arm called Dexterity Sounds, Bishop Jakes brought the gospel to life. Albums like The Storm Is Over, A Wing and a Prayer, and the Sacred Love Songs series caught fire. They didn't just touch hearts. They made history. Some even earned Grammy recognition. That's major. He also introduced the gospel group Grace, a modern gospel team that climbed to the top of the Billboard charts. These weren't just Sunday songs. These were studio-quality anthems that hit the airwaves. Now, the company didn't stop at just creating content. It built entire divisions to keep the vision moving. There's Dexterity Plus, a global business network for entrepreneurs. Dexterity Media, which handles storytelling through different media formats. Dexterity Sounds, the music production house. Dexterity Collective, for brand and community marketing. Dexterity X, which plans exclusive events and experiences. And Dexterity Ventures, which invests in high-growth companies aligned with the mission. Every piece of this empire has a purpose, but none of it plays small. Take MegaFest, for example. This isn't just a church gathering. In 2013 alone, it attracted over 75,000 people and brought in $70 million in revenue. That's like running a festival, a corporate expo, and a gospel concert all at once. So here's the truth. TD Jakes didn't just find success behind a pulpit. He created a full-blown entertainment dynasty. His voice echoed from churches, bookshelves, screens, radios, and stadiums, from Dallas to Hollywood, from sermons to silver screens. This wasn't luck. This was vision, strategy, and timing. And while most pastors stayed on stage, Jakes stepped onto sets, into studios, and behind boardroom tables. The result? A media empire that turned stories into millions and messages into movement. Real estate investments. Now this is where things get real. You've seen the books. You've seen the movies. But what if I told you Bishop T.D. Jakes is not just preaching to the people? He's building for them too. We're talking about real buildings, real land, and real power. And the name behind it all? T.D. Jakes, Real Estate Ventures, LLC. This company is based in Dallas, Texas, and it's not just about bricks and buildings. It's about building lives. TDJ Rev's mission is to create attainable and sustainable communities, especially in areas that have been ignored and left behind. They focus on job training, education, financial literacy, and most importantly, housing that people can actually afford. Let's start with South Florida. In December 2023, TDJ Rev teamed up with New Urban Development, the biggest black-owned real estate group in Miami. What they launched was massive. 2 affordable housing projects that could change the game. The first is a 200-unit mixed-income development in Hallandale Beach, right in the heart of a historic black neighborhood. Land is tight, rent is high, and affordable homes are hard to find. This 5-acre project is bringing back balance. The second one, a 150-unit senior living community in Miami Gardens, spread across 7 peaceful acres. It comes with a clubhouse, walking trails, and a whole new quality of life for elderly residents who've been priced out or forgotten. But that's just the start. TD Jakes isn't just dropping buildings in cities, he's changing the entire landscape. His company believes in transformation, not just transactions. They offer education programs, financial planning tools, job training, resources that lift people up, not just give them a roof. Baltimore is another hotspot. TDJ Rev invested in a partnership with La Cité Development to help reshape West Baltimore's Poppleton neighborhood. This isn't a cosmetic fix. This is a total rebuild with residential spaces, shops, services, and long-term change. They're not just painting over the cracks, they're fixing the foundation. And then comes Atlanta, one of the biggest moves yet. TDJREV stepped into the redevelopment of 95 acres of the old Fort McPherson Army Base. That's right, an old military base getting flipped into a full-blown mixed-use community. It will have homes, retail stores, offices, healthcare, even a senior living facility. This land sits right next to Tyler Perry Studios, turning a once closed-off area into a fresh new hub of life. But here's where the numbers really explode. In April 2023, the TD Jakes Group and Wells Fargo dropped the news of a 10-year strategic partnership. The goal? To build inclusive communities across America. The commitment? Up to $1 billion in capital loans and grants to push this vision into reality. You heard that right, $1 billion. This is one of the most ambitious church-led real estate projects the country has ever seen. It's not just about buildings, it's about people, about healing broken neighborhoods, about bringing back dignity and opportunity. And they're not just talking about it. Over just the first 2 years, the TD Jakes Foundation and Wells Fargo poured $18 million in grants into programs that teach financial literacy, provide affordable housing, and prepare people for jobs that actually pay well. TDJ Rev is showing what it looks like when faith meets finance, when vision meets action, and when a preacher steps into the role of a developer with a mission. No flashy condos, no overpriced towers, just smart strategic development that leaves no one behind. And we're not done yet. Get ready, because we're about to talk speaking engagements. And trust me, you're going to want to hear how much this man makes just to grab a mic for an hour. Speaking engagements. Bishop T.D. Jakes is not just a speaker. He's a world-class keynote powerhouse, and every time he steps onto a stage, the check behind the curtain is huge. We're talking between $100,000 and $200,000 per event, according to All American Speakers Bureau. Yes, you heard that right. One speech, one stage, one voice, and 6 figures follow. Let's take a closer look at the numbers. Back in 2010, at the Hillsong Conference in Sydney, Australia, Bishop Jakes was handed a check for $146,359 for speaking just one day. One day. One message. That's more than what most people make in 2 years. But here's what's wild. If you break it down to time, most keynotes last about an hour. That means Bishop Jakes could be earning up to $200,000 an hour. Now, of course, that fee also covers things like preparation, travel, accommodations, and maybe a few behind-the-scenes sessions. But still, that's an income level most pastors never see in a lifetime. These aren't backroom talks or community centers. These are huge global conferences with thousands of people, where the energy is high, the cameras are rolling, and the lights are bright. People don't just show up to listen. They come to experience something life-changing. Bishop Jakes has traveled all over the world, from packed arenas in the United States to massive church gatherings overseas. And every time he speaks, that message doesn't just move hearts, it moves money. So when people say preaching doesn't pay, they haven't seen this level of preaching. This is elite speaking, on a global scale, with checks that match the weight of every word. Digital presence and online revenue. Now, if you thought the pulpit was powerful, wait until you see what happens when Bishop T.D. Jakes goes digital. With a combined audience of over 9 million followers across platforms like Instagram and YouTube, his online presence is nothing short of a digital empire. And this empire pays, big time. Estimates suggest that Bishop Jakes earns between $1.5 million to $2 million annually from his social media channels. His Instagram account, boasting over 6 million followers, is a hub for inspirational messages, behind-the-scenes glimpses, and promotional content for his various ventures. Meanwhile, his YouTube channel features sermons, interviews, and motivational talks that garner millions of views, translating into substantial ad revenue and sponsorship deals. But it's not just about the money. Bishop Jakes uses these platforms to extend his reach, touching lives across the globe and reinforcing his brand as a spiritual leader and entrepreneur. From the pulpit to the boardroom, from bookshelves to social media feeds, Bishop T.D. Jakes has built a large empire that spans ministry, media, real estate, and philanthropy. His journey is a testament to the power of vision, strategy, and unwavering faith. But what do you think? Is his wealth a result of entrepreneurial spirit, divine favor, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives and legacies of influential figures.